They called it a game. That's the word her mother used afterward, on the rare occasions it came up. Game. As though 11-year-olds were meant to find adventure in being left on a train platform in a city they didn't know. Watching the doors close, watching her father's face through the smashed glass, wearing an expression she had never seen before, and couldn't name until she was much older. Amusement. Her aunt had apparently bet her mother $5 that Claire would cry within the first 10 minutes. Her uncle bet she'd find a payphone and call home, voice cracking, ready to be collected and teased about it forever. The story, as it was designed, ended with them circling back after 20 minutes, finding her red-faced and shaken, and the family laughing about it on the drive home. Claire learns a lesson about independence. Everyone gets a good story. What actually happened was quieter and, for them, entirely unsatisfying. She didn't cry. She sat down on a wooden bench and she thought. She was 11, but she had always been the kind of 11 that adults described as serious, which was their way of saying she made them slightly uncomfortable. She checked her pockets. She had $4 and a bus schedule her father had left in her jacket 2 weeks earlier, which he'd never asked for back. She studied it for a long time. Then she got on a bus. She was home before they were. She had made herself a sandwich and was reading at the kitchen table when they walked in, already mid-law, already shaping the story into something they could use. The laughter stopped when they saw her. Her mother said, "How did you?" and Claire said nothing, because nothing seemed necessary. She finished her chapter, she went to bed. They never quite told the story the same way after that. It lost its shape when she declined to be the punchline. What no one accounted for was that she filed it away, not with anger. She was too young for the kind of anger that sustains itself, and too old to cry about it by the time she understood what it meant. She filed it the way you file a fact about a person. This is what they think of me. Not a wound so much as information. She updated her understanding of them and moved forward with more accurate data. She left for college at 17 on a partial scholarship she had applied for without telling anyone. She called home occasionally, then less occasionally, then on holidays, then not at all. Each reduction was so gradual that no one could point to the moment it became final. That was intentional. Claire had learned early that clean exits were harder to argue with than dramatic ones. She built a life in the space their absence created. A career in urban infrastructure planning, cities, transit systems, the logic of how people move through space. Her colleagues found it quietly funny that she had a particular expertise in transit hubs. She never explained why. She became the kind of person whose name appeared in reports, then in acknowledgments, then in the bylines of those reports. She had an apartment with good light. She had friends who were chosen rather than inherited. She had, without ever announcing it, become someone. The calls came on a Tuesday. She noticed the first one at 7 a.m. and set her phone face down. By the time she finished her coffee there were 9. By noon, 23. She watched the number climb the way you watch weather come in, with a kind of calm attention, no urgency. 29. By evening her mother. Her father, her mother again, her uncle once, which surprised her. He was not a man who made phone calls. The sheer volume of it told her more than any message could. Something had shifted on their end. Someone was sick or dying or already gone, or they had simply reached an age where the shape of what they'd done had finally become visible to them. She didn't pick up. She thought about it, genuinely. She sat with the phone in her hand for a long time, turning it over, feeling the weight of 20 years of quiet in her palm. She was not vindictive. She had never wanted them to suffer. She had simply wanted, had needed, to be somewhere they were not. That hadn't changed. She opened her messages and typed carefully, the way she drafted everything that mattered. I see the calls. I hope everyone is okay. I'm not in a place to have this conversation right now, and I don't know if I will be. I wish you well. She read it 3 times. She sent it. Then she put the phone in her bag and went for a walk, because the evening was cool and the city was doing what cities do. Moving, indifferent, full of people navigating their own invisible distances. They didn't call again that night. She didn't know what they did with her message, whether they read it together or alone, whether it made her mother cry or made her father go quiet in the particular way he went quiet when something arrived that he couldn't argue with. She found she didn't need to know. In the morning she went to work. She sat in a meeting about a transit redesign, looking at maps of platforms and corridors and the elegant problem of how people move from one place to another without getting lost. She was very good at this. Outside the window the city continued. Trains arrived, trains left. People stood on platforms and made decisions. To board, to wait, to walk away entirely. She had made hers a long time ago. She turned back to the map.